Welcome to the Boat Galley Podcast. I'm Carolyn Shearlock, here with tips, reviews, and how-tos for your cruising adventure. This episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by Shambhala Sailing Adventures, offering customized learning charters in the Exumas, Bahamas. Sailor like your owner with coaching from Captain Suki Cannon. Contact her at Captain Suki, that's CAPTAINSUKY, at gmail.com. Mention this podcast for 10% off. Slow down, slow down. How much water do you need on a boat? The first time you plan a weekend anchored out, or the first time you charter, I'll bet one of your questions is, how much water do we need? It was for us. I've heard of people using as little as a gallon per person per day, basically just drinking water. Everything else is done with salt water, including most of the cooking. I can't imagine doing that for any length of time, and certainly not if you want cruising to be a lifestyle and not an ordeal. Yeah, in an emergency you can do it. We've also known boats that use 20 or 30 gallons per person per day. They've had long, hot showers, generally in a separate shower stall, and even a washing machine on board. Now that's a pretty nice lifestyle, but it takes either a large water tank and a short trip, frequent stops at marinas or fuel docks where you can get water, or a very large capacity water maker and the power to support it. So those are the extremes. U.S. dirt dwellers use about 100 gallons per person per day in contrast, and luxury yachts probably use almost as much. But how about us real people? Most full-time cruising couples that we know averaged 4 to 6 gallons per person per day. Note that single-handers may use a little bit more and families a little bit less, as boat use is divided amongst fewer or more people. And if you have a pet, be sure to allow a bit for them, both for drinking and occasional spray downs if they wade or swim in salt water. Yeah, they'll get itchy in salt water, and if you don't rinse the salt off, they'll also track it through the boat, onto the carpet, upholstery, and bedding. Obviously, big dogs will take more than small dogs, as will dogs that like to roll in the sand or mud. For the three of us, that's Dave and I and a very small dog named Paz, we were on the low end of the spectrum at about 7 gallons a day. In other words, 7 gallons for the total of the three of us, not per person. Plus we'd have a can of soda and a beer or two. But we didn't have cases of bottled water or juice. So what did this mean in terms of our lifestyle? We were in a hot climate. Temperatures were generally 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We drank a lot of water and water-based drinks such as iced tea. We swam most days and rinsed off with half or 1 gallon tank sprayer of fresh water. We also used that to rinse off our snorkel gear and swimsuits. Occasionally I'd shampoo my hair with biodegradable shampoo and dive in to do the big rinse, then use the sprayer to get the salt out. Most days, dog Paz also got a spray down after a romp on the beach. She loved to wade to cool down, and yes, she also loved to roll in the sand and mud. We usually first poured a bucket of salt water over her to get most of it off, then used fresh water to rinse her. Most of the time, we'd shower every other day with a 4-gallon sun shower. That is, Dave and I each got half of the bag of water. We included washing our hair, shaving, everything else in that 4 gallons. We literally never showered with the pressure water in the head. For one thing, we didn't want the dampness down below. For another, we didn't have a hot water heater. And finally, we used a lot less water with the sun shower. We both were careful never to let water just run while brushing teeth, rinsing dishes, and so on. But I never used salt water to cook. It just wasn't clean enough anywhere that we were. We washed and rinsed dishes in fresh water, but we were careful how we did it. Leftover coffee would rinse or soak dishes. I'd put an inch of water in the gunkiest pan and let it soak while I washed the other dishes from that. And I used a little indoor sprayer to rinse the dishes. It's called an Aquabot. You can buy it on Amazon. Really saves a lot of water. We also didn't rinse the boat with fresh water, except that the solar panels would get a quick wipe down most mornings to keep them producing at full power. We'd wait until we were at a dock to really rinse the boat off. And we also never did laundry on the boat. My one luxury was to take it to a local laundry facility, drop it off, and come back after doing all the provisioning to a bag of clean and wonderful smelling clothes. Now note, all of this was for times when we were away from a marina. When we were living in a marina for a week or something, we would use more water. But overall, 7 gallons per day would do the two of us. 10 gallons was pure luxury. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please be sure to subscribe in your podcast app. Just search for the Boat Galley Podcast. And reviews are always appreciated. Until next time, then.
Slow down.